All right, ladies and gentlemen, get in your seats. Our next guest is about to begin. His name is Lasher, and he is here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him right now. So his topic is writing history, financial liberation, and the rise of the millennialaires. Is that how I say it? Millennialaires. That's a tough one, man. Tongue twister. So Aaron is an early Bitcoin investor, co-founder of the popular crypto wallet Bread, a company on a mission to be the world's largest decentralized financial institution. And Bread has customers in over 140 countries who use the app to store billions of dollars worth of digital assets. Insert funny thing here. I won't do it, though. This is actually fascinating. All right, so today, he never misses an opportunity to use nautical references when discussing Bitcoin, drawing from his many encounters with dysfunctional economies and far-off countries. So I can't wait to hear you. Let's welcome Mr. Aaron Lasher.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take it away.
Hey, hey, hey. Just kidding. Last one. I got you. Money's very interesting. Everybody wants it, thinks about it, needs it, talks about it, stresses about it. Nobody knows how it actually works. Ask somebody on the street how money works, and you're going to get some really creative answers. Even the experts don't do a great job. Money's a little bit like gravity. We believe in it, we feel it. Sometimes it hurts. We have no clue how it works. Like gravity, money can be thought of as this fabric that binds us all in mysterious ways. Just don't put it in the laundry. That brings us to the topic of this talk, entitled Writing History, Financial Independence, and the Rise of the Millennialaires. Yes, I invented that word for the sake of this talk. No, it's not easy to pronounce. So let's start with history. For thousands of years, humans have sought ways to pack as much value as possible into a smaller space as they can. Gold, diamonds, jewelry, fidget spinners, fine art, Yeezy shoes, Kobe beef, pieces of paper with the number 100 on them. It's a natural human trait. Looking at this value to volume ratio, we actually have a word for these things. Precious. The significance of Bitcoin is that it is likely the most precious asset in all of human history, except for our children, and so people seek it with great enthusiasm. I mentioned that money was an invisible fabric. Well, I have some bad news. That fabric is on a treadmill, and you're on it. Your legs keep moving, and your body stays in the same place. Sounds a little like prison, doesn't it? It turns out that humanity has been stuck in an invisible prison for about the last 400 years. But here's the magic trick. Every time you walk around your invisible prison cell, every now and then you bump up against a wall, and there's always some other seemingly obvious reason for your plight. You got fired because your boss is a jerk. A hamburger is worth 15 cents more because McDonald's is greedy. Your student loan counselor told you that you should take out $200,000 on an underwater basket weaving degree because it's a sound financial decision. Any answer will do as long as it isn't that the money is sick. You see, the paradox of inflation is that the cause is too much money, but the symptom is not enough money. Some prisoners are faring better than others, and for the sake of this, I want to focus on a group that, in my opinion, has gotten a really raw deal. They are the bête noire of the current financial situation. Lazy, distracted, naive, idealistic, intelligent, cultured, ambitious, idealistic. Born roughly between 1982 and 2000, of course, I'm talking about the millennials. Now, it's not fair to lump an entire generation into a single stereotype, but I'm going to do it anyways. The reason that they're important. Sorry? No. Would you like some? We could just show pictures of like animals. No, I'm just going on my own here. Sure. Any other questions? Okay. Cool. Thank you for asking, though. Where was I? So the reason this generation is important is because they're undergoing a critical incubation period, and the way that they are using cryptocurrency is going to affect the financial system on a global way. Are we educating our kids today so that they are prepared for the challenges of the real world? No. We coddle and protect, and then we act surprised when our kids have trouble adjusting to reality. How many people here took the class investing in high school? Personal finance? How to do your taxes 101? Seems a bit odd, no? Money is so crucial to functioning as an adult, but we decide to just let our kids figure it out once it's actually important. It's kind of like dating. And come to think of it, investing has a lot in common with relationships. And investing in cryptocurrency is like getting that girl's number at the club who's way out of your league. Behold, the noob crypto investor. Okay, I've read about this, done my research. All the YouTubers say that this coin is going to the moon. I need to go in. This thing's hot. Okay, here we go. I'm throwing down 0.5 BTC. Bam, done. I did it. Holy crap, it's mooning. I knew it. Come on, Seabiscuit. I got more gunpowder. I'm keeping it dry. I'm gonna be responsible. Oh my God, it's up another 25%. Screw it. I knew I should have just put in more. Here, another one, 0.5, done. It's up even more. I'm the king of the world. Move over, Bill Gates. You know what? I'm going in with my whole stash of 1.7 BTC. Woo! Oh crap, it's going down. I think I'm getting wrecked. Oh, no. YOLO? Oh, God. What should I do? I gotta get out. I'm out. Meanwhile, at the club. Man, she's really fine. But she's talking to her friends. Come on, be bold. You can do this. You're the man. Okay. I'm going in. Sup? Hey. My name's Lasher. It's my last name. It's what my friends call me. Anyway, I was wondering if I could have your number. Okay. Huh? I mean, yeah, cool. All right, here, just, put it, yeah, thank you. Cool, I'll call you later. Yes. I'm such a stud. Back at home. All right, that was awesome. That was awesome. I'm the man. Don't text for 3 days, right? Keep your gunpowder dry. Okay. What should I say? I'm not going to text her now. But, she was pretty cool. She doesn't play games, right? I should at least just make sure I got the right number. Sup. Send. Maybe I need more context. Hey, this is Lasher from Tonight. Sup. Ooh, scene. 504. Maybe I should be more funny. Why didn't the elephant use the computer? Question mark. Because he was afraid of the mouse. Got nothing. This is not going well. Hey, sorry if I'm bothering you. I just feel like we really had a connection. Hey, want to get coffee later tomorrow? Smiley face? I could get coffee right now if you want. Hey, I'm sorry to keep bothering you. I just want to figure. Oh, she's typing. Please stop texting me. Oh my God. I got dumped. Now, I'm not saying that we should teach a dating class in high school, although maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea. But what I want you to think about is that we're laughing at these misfortunes because what we see is a glimmer of our own experiences. And that's okay. This is funny because we recognize this as the process of real education. This isn't theories and books. This is real life. This is making and losing real money. This is about to lock down your soulmate and then screwing it up. Notice the similarities. Identifying an opportunity, building up the confidence to go for it, engaging in unnecessarily risky behavior, and then ultimately getting owned. Do not underestimate the value of a real education. Have you ever seen those computer simulations with the 3D animals that have to navigate the world in this accelerated evolution? In the beginning, they flop around and they are really quite pathetic. It's kind of funny, but you feel sorry for them. But if you leave the room for 20 minutes and you go get a sandwich, by the time you come back, those animals are jumping through hoops and running around the screen, and they are actually scary. They're scary good. And suddenly, they're not so funny anymore. Speaking of prematurely underestimating people, I'd like to talk about early 2014. But first, let's go way back to late 2011 when I first got involved in Bitcoin. At the time, the total value of all Bitcoin was worth $30 million with an M. Today, an ICO sneezes and it's worth $30 million. The group of crypto enthusiasts back then was much smaller, and the mood was pretty dour. Bitcoin had just come off an all-time high of $30 and was now dipping below 3. So we had to figure out, we didn't have the HODL meme back then, right? We had to figure out how to make sense of this magic internet currency that had fallen in a ditch. Over the next year and a half, we flopped around like fish out of water and tried trading, lost money, tried mining, lost money. Accumulation seemed to be the only way to really make any progress. And so by the time of the double bubble of 2013, we were feeling pretty smug. We were the smartest guys in the room who had ridden the dragon from $3 up to $1,000, and well, this gets us to 2014. A young man named Vitalik, who was essentially a crypto journalist up until that point, came up with this crazy idea about smart contracts and how you needed a whole new blockchain for them. And this idea sounded thoroughly dumb to me. Because I was so smart, and I clearly was the best at analyzing the space. And I knew immediately that Ethereum would fail. Well, the Ethereum crowd sale raised a few tens of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and as many of you know, the allocation was 2,000 Ethereum per Bitcoin. Yeah, you can have my Bitcoin when you pry them from my cold, dead hands. Thank you very much. I'll pass. Yeah, see how that turned out. In the meantime, I found a little project called Bread Wallet, led by Aaron Boisine and Adam Trademan, and I became their first investor. We'll come back to Bread a little later. Clearly, I underestimated Ethereum. Lots of us did. And the mistake we made was letting our success get to our heads. We were blinded by how fabulous we were. And it took me personally 2 years before I gave Ethereum a second look. Begrudgingly had to admit that it had potential. But just when I started to make sense of the world and get comfortable again, this thing you might have heard of called the Dow happened. And when that crashed and burned, I felt thoroughly justified to dismiss all token sales for the rest of the future. But then I got uncomfortable again. In 2017, ICO after ICO started popping up seemingly out of nowhere and was raising tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. Clearly, this had to stop as soon as people realized that this was a bad idea. But just as I was about to dismiss ICOs, I got the feeling on the back of my neck. The little hair stood up, and I thought, oh, I felt this way about Ethereum, too. Oh, man, now I got to go take a look at this, too. So I decided to take a closer look. I had to know who on earth was buying these things. So I went to some meetups, and I encountered the strangest of creatures. They were guys and gals with dyed hair, some parts long and some parts shaved, and they were 20 to 25. They had zebra striped pants and faux fur jackets and sunglasses with heart shapes. Calling them iconoclastic is an understatement. So I asked one of them, what are you guys all about? And he said, oh, us? We're token heads. Oh, token heads. Cool. And he whipped out his phone and he showed me all of his coins and started talking about them. And that was my first introduction to this special class of people. At Bread headquarters, things were going pretty well. We were one of the largest or most popular Bitcoin wallets on iOS and Android. And even though Bitcoin was our baby, it always will be, we had to admit that the token heads were starting to shake things up. So we did an analysis, and here's where we arrived. Although some of the ICOs will undoubtedly fail, the model itself is actually quite compelling for two reasons. One, investors get instant liquidity, contrasting with traditional venture capital where you have to wait for 5 to 7 years to get your money back. In the token space, if you don't like a project, you can divest the minute that that happens. And second, no barriers to entry. You didn't have to be an accredited investor to get a hold of these assets. Where do tokens fit in the traditional capital structure? Right? Normal companies have this ladder of capital, and each stage there's corresponding risk and reward. So common stockholders will be the first to lose their money in a liquidation event, but bondholders have a more limited and well-defined upside. So here's bonds, here's stocks. Tokens are here, okay? Have you heard of mezzanine capital? We decided to call tokens seller capital. But before you think that I'm talking about the basement as a scary place, remember this is also where you keep your finest wines. Once we felt we understood the significance of seller capital, we evaluated whether the model would work for us. A startup that was slightly more advanced than most projects, more mature, and determined that likely this was the trend of the future, and we had an opportunity to lead on best practices. So on December 2017, Bread, a company comprised of diehard Bitcoin fans, underwent a successful token sale. Crazy. Really quickly about Bread, and I won't dwell on it because it's not the topic of the conversation, but I have to say, because I'm very excited about it, that our vision is to be the world's largest decentralized financial institution as measured by what we call assets under protection. That's the crypto version of assets under management. Our mission is to financially liberate the individual, and our goal is a bread in every pocket. So that's Bread. In my personal opinion, the most important result was that this move brought us face to face with the token heads, these idiosyncratic mysteries. Most of them are millennials, some of them are millennial-millionaires. And here's what we've learned. Number one, these guys aren't screwing around. They have nothing to lose. Faced with a terrible economy, likely some student loan debt, they're forced to fight back in the only way that they know how. And instead of being victims, the proverbial snowflakes, delicate snowflakes, they're turning out more to be like the greatest generation, this group of people who grew up through the Great Depression, renowned for their thrift and grit. Don't underestimate them. Number two, the risk tolerance of token heads is off the charts. Did anyone notice how normal people panicked when the Dow went down by 5% in one day a couple weeks ago? Token heads will whistle past the graveyard when their portfolio drops by 50%. Talk about stoicism, confidence. Dare I say wisdom? Number three, counterintuitively, as a byproduct of this risk-taking, they have adopted very responsible personal finance habits. They hustle for cash, they spend less than they earn, they put their savings to work, they eat ramen and ride bikes so they don't have to sell their crypto to pay rent. They are responsible citizens, which I don't think is the reputation that they've built so far. Can we agree on that? Now, these individuals, they cut their teeth in the unforgiving crucible of crypto land, this merciless, confounding, and dangerous world. But not without great opportunity. Rather than punch their way up through a traditional broken system that doesn't serve their interests, they pick the locks on their prison cells. And they are engaged in the most comprehensive jailbreak that the world has seen in the last 400 years. Ladies and gentlemen, behold the leaders of tomorrow. These are our future titans of industry, and philanthropists, elected officials. If you don't like the status quo, wait until these people get into power. This is why I get out of bed in the morning. For the sake of financial independence, for the sake of real people and real lives, for the sake of ownership and personal responsibility, for opportunities for families, for mental health, for the sake of building something worth fighting for the sake of empty prison cells and a taste of true freedom. And if that doesn't stir something inside you too, if you don't give a damn, well, it's time to wake up and smell the digital roses, because this is happening whether you like it or not. In the beginning of my talk, some of you may have noticed that I used the intro of an infamous scammer. Hey, hey, hey. Anyone get any flashbacks? And it was intentional, because that scam affected real people who lost real money. And if I may put a fine point on it, if I've made my case on real education, there are some precious things in life that you cannot buy. You can only pay for. Thank you.
All right, we have a couple minutes left. Any questions? Anyone? Stand and deliver. Well, if that's the case, do you want to make up a question and answer it? Otherwise, I'll move along. Yeah, make up a question and answer it. You can do that. All right? All right, let's give him another hand.
All right.
True poet. Did a great job.
Thank you.
Very entertaining.